Well, good morning, St. Catherine Drexel family. I'm missing you. It sounds like going to be having these weekly chats by video and the masses with no public, at least until the end of, sounds like it might be till the end of April now. So it's just something that we'll have to make the most of. I am grateful for this technology that does allow me to communicate with you. I am also grateful that you're finding ways to reach out to each other. I know that some of our staff connected on Zoom last week, and that man is you connected that way. I believe there will be hopefully a prayer service tomorrow that will be open that way, and we hope to have our Bible study or our Divine Mercy study open that way starting this week as well. So pray for all those efforts. Those are great efforts. There was a great national or even international youth conference scheduled last night, and I hope many were able to tap into that. It was a very good hour of prayer and reflection, and very helpful. So thank God that we have the technology to make those connections, since we can't connect in the normal way. And we pray for all that are involved in these efforts to help us get connected the normal way again. Because we miss that face-to-face connection, I know, very much. People ask me how I'm doing. I'm thankfully physically doing well. As I know is the case of many of you, my heart is very heavy, and with just the tragedy and sickness that our world faces, I certainly, my heart is heavy for the medical workers and the tremendous strain placed on them, and difficulty of their task now, really, in many cases, putting their lives on the line, which is quite extraordinary. And I pray for people that are affected by this crisis, even in our own community. I know Kirk Deagle's father, who is elderly, lived a wonderful, long life, but he died of this virus. And Beth Gambros had a couple brothers sick. One out in Las Vegas, actually, it's a different virus, but thankfully he's doing better now, and her brother here in Illinois is doing much better. So we're grateful for those accomplishments or signs of hope. And then there's the usual sicknesses that go on. Pray for a young Christian Herrero who's been battling his own sickness recently. And so there's a lot of the usual things that are weighing heavy on us in the midst of this coronavirus crisis as well. I was inspired by talking about the media. We were able to worldwide get the message from Pope Francis last Friday. Hopefully many of you had a chance to tap into it. It was good for plenary indulgence. But in his address, he focused on Mark's gospel, the one where Jesus calms the violent storm. And what a perfect gospel, because we seem to be in the midst of a violent storm. All the apostles were in the boat. They were all in the same boat, so to speak. We're all in the same boat, so to speak. And like the apostles, perhaps some of us are afraid, feeling a little lost, and probably definitely like the apostles, most of us, if not all of us, have been caught a little off guard by this pandemic. Not something that anyone expected to this extent. The apostles in the boat wondered, are we going to perish? Maybe there's some of us that have wondered that as well. And also, the apostles in the boat were alarmed that Jesus was sleeping in the midst of the storm. Would this convey that Jesus doesn't care? No. That would be the last message to get out of this. What it does convey is that Jesus is placing his complete trust in the Father, and that is clear from his response to them. Why are you afraid? Where is your faith? So I think fear is a little natural at times like this, but what we have to pray for is what those apostles needed. We have to pray for greater trust. And one of the reasons that they didn't have it, and sometimes we don't have it either, is we place a lot of trust in our own human abilities. And to some extent, that's good. But the bottom line is we don't have total control. And this event really shows that we do not have control of this. We're trying to come to grips with it. We're trying desperately to find a way to turn things around. But it does show that humbly, I think, we have to acknowledge we don't have complete control. And only one does, and that is our God. And we have to place greater trust in our God to see us through. Placing trust in God doesn't mean that nothing bad happens. Clearly, Jesus Christ dying on the cross is an example of that. He put total trust in God and died on the cross. But we know that that's not the end of the story. And that's what we're preparing for as we prepare for Holy Week. That dying on the cross is not the end of the story. And our struggle right now is very difficult, and some are paying the ultimate price and losing their lives, and many are getting sick. And yet, it's not the end of the story. So we do continue to pray for those who have lost loved ones. We continue to pray for all who are sick. And in the meantime, we pray that we cling to hope and not to fear. That we cling to a spirit of cooperation and not blame. That we cling to a spirit of love and charity and kindness in them, and not give in to panic. So that's our prayer. And that was the great example that Jesus provided in that boat. He did not panic. He had total trust in God, and he said, you must do the same. I have overcome the darkness of this world, and you must place your trust in that. May God bless you, and please keep the faith, and also please keep finding ways to stay in touch through the computer, through the phone, however you may. And this weekend I'm going to try something I've never done before, and that is through cars, drive-through confession. So pray for that effort as well, that that will be met with great success. May God bless you, and pray that you have a good week, and pray for one another. And thanks for your prayers for me. God bless you.